Got the Dolby Vision popping, I'm the colorist on top. Filmed entity so heavy, it's like I'm never gonna drop. Grading scenes with precision, making colors vivid through the darkest corners. My art, you must admit it, no ordinary gangster. I'm a colorist on the streets, I mix the hues and shades, making visuals complete. From the darkest shadows to the brightest sunlit sky. Paint a masterpiece, that's what you can't deny. Ain't no match for my grading skills, I'm the champion. Like a visual illusion, I'll leave you in a trance, man. With magic on the screen, I create a sensation. The colors that I manifest, they cause a revelation.
Whoops, whatever. Okay. Oh no. What happened? What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Cult of Color. I hope my mic is fucking loud enough now. I got a preamp, so whatevs, right? My name is Joe, aka Nomad. I will be your colorist for the evening. But tonight, we're going to focus a little bit more on GyroFlow. Really? GyroFlow. Man, I cannot brain today. Focus a little bit more on GyroFlow, specifically the installation of the latest application as well as the OFX plugin for DaVinci Resolve. It's pretty easy stuff. Well, application installation is the OFX plugin is a little bit dodgy if you don't like read, so I'm just going to show you instead of like read it to you. Oh my god. So I just all of a sudden started having an allergy attack, so I'm anaphylactic shock any second now. And let me turn that up a little bit. A little bit. Well, too much. Okay. I know you guys can hear me because my levels are through the fucking roof. Sounds great. I'm bassy. I don't know, man. I'm super hyper. I didn't sleep last night. I'm running on fumes. Fuck, man. So let's see here. Yeah, we're gonna talk about the OFX plugin, and I would, for the most part, recommend you get the nightly dev build because that's where the bug fixes are gonna be for the most part. Especially if you buy a new camera that just came out, you're gonna want to get that build. Holy fucking balls, dude. My throat is so itchy. I might turn inside out and start sneezing up shards of my pelvis. Fucking hell. The things I do for you guys. Yeah, so we got some videos. We got some videos this evening. Let's have a look-see at some videos. So now I will kill the music. Because fuck music, right? And, oh yeah, hey, by the way, my little, my MagPy application. So this is how I can show you guys what the hell I'm doing. Like it shows keystrokes in the corners and shit. Well, it's supposed to. Apparently not anymore. All right. Well, I guess that's the thing that stopped working. I'll work on that later. But anyway, you can see the magnification. And if my mouse cursor enters it, it hops out of the way real quick. I haven't gotten it to render the actual mouse cursor in the magnified view, so you'll just have to trust me that the cursor's in the very center. Yeah, anyway. Videos. First up, we got Hexy Sexy Smexy FPV DJI 03 Hexy FPV Spin Me Right Round FPV Drone Rippin' Windmill. So this is something I've never done. And I wanted to, but windmills kind of scare me a little bit. I actually have to stop moving the mouse for the thing to go away. There we go. Because, like, those things got some serious vortex turbulence, but it's almost the opposite of what you'd expect from a propeller because it's being impelled by the air and not propelling the air. So the vortices are reversed. I mean, it wouldn't be so windy if they didn't have all these fucking fans going all the time, right? Yeah, I'm sure I'm going to run into a windmill or two next month for my trip, so I've got enough rigs that I can chance it. I probably won't take the Cinelifter. Probably take the Y6. Maybe my 5-inch. Come on, Hexy, get close to it, man. Go over and give that little hub a smooch. So here's the thing about windmills, right? They look like they're moving slow, but they're only going a couple RPM. Not even that. Like maybe point something RPM, but the tip speed of those rotors got to be like 150, 200 miles an hour. You do not want to get clipped by one of those fucking things with your drone. That would be terrible. Obviously, it depends on the size of the windmill and what its duty cycle is. Some of them spin faster than others. Some of them are bigger than others. Some of them lose control, and it's really cool when they lose control. I'm really surprised like windmills aren't in the same category as like power plants. Like, you know, you can't fly around a power plant. And you'd think it'd be like critical infrastructure, but at the same time, what kind of damage is a little 5-inch drone going to do to one of these behemoths? They're like, they get hit by all kinds of shit all the time. Are you going to perch on top of it? Dude, I'd give you $1 if you perched on top of it. You bitch. I'd have perched on it. Because that's totally something I do all the time, right? All the fucking risk. Whoa, that abrupted endly. That abrupted endly? Holy fucking shit, man. Thank you, Hexy. Appreciate it. That was pretty neat. Let us know if you end up joining and you're catching up. Let us know if that was your first time flying around a windmill or if you've done it already. So let's give it a like and say, hi, Hexy. Coat of color. Woo! Okay. God damn it. Oh, fucking hell. Look like such an amateur. All right. Anyway, next up, nepotism. Hey. I finally got out to Warren Dunes with the Cinelifter. Basically, someplace other than my fucking neighborhood with this thing. But what was really nice is I got to open it up pretty good. It was a bit peoply, but they were kind of in predictable places. Nobody complained. There was no fuzz out there. So, and I was turning it up pretty good. This was after 2 packs of tuning. I did a tune before I left the house and a test hover, which turned out fine. Then I got there and it started oscillating, like low frequency oscillation. So I knew my I-turn was way too high. So I was busting out the phone, connecting with fucking Speedy Bee, fixing my tune on the fly. Then I was going down the rabbit hole of black box logging on my fucking phone. Anyway, I got it tuned up. All the wiggles are gone. So here's this horse shit. And I will skip the 10 minutes of vlogging at the end. Just, you know, help you guys out. Do some flying with the old Cinelifter today. Finally made it out to Warren Dunes. It's very peoply out here, so we'll have to see how that goes. I don't see the fuzz about anywhere, so I don't think I'm going to get harassed, but we shall see. Anyway, see you on the flip. Goodbye. I don't know, you guys get an external shot of it taking off. And I also noticed the iPhone has a global shutter. No bendy prop blades. So that's pretty fancy. Pinky's out. I'm not 1,000% happy with this grade. I ended up having to redo this like 3 times, and I think I got tired and started cutting corners. So, I mean, I was playing with this footage earlier. In fact, I still have it open in Resolve right now, but I'll have to close it. Playing with it earlier, doing a new split grade. Trying to make it not look like ass. People love running down the dunes. They are insanely steep. It doesn't look like it from the air, but they're pretty damn steep. The center lifter's quick. A lot of people in places that normally don't see people. It's fine. I didn't hit anybody. It's funny, my wife and I like to watch like couples try to walk up the dune when they're not like quite fit enough to do it, and we make up stories about them. Like, there's this young couple. We call them Josh and Sarah, and Josh was making Sarah carry the basket that I guess had food in it or something like that, while he slowly slimed his way up the dune. Fucking Josh. It's still a running joke. It's been like a year. Thank you, Bart. Appreciate that. The amount of birds I almost hit is way more than I'm comfortable with. But fortunately, they're the ones dodging out of my way, and I'm not having to dodge them. Oops, bumped my mouse. Hooray, orbits. So there's 2 things about Warren Dunes State Park that I don't like. The first of which is you'd think it would be a pretty RF neutral area, but it's actually really bogged down with tons of interference. On like 900 megahertz especially, but 2.4 gigahertz. 5.8 is fine. But 2.4 I have some struggles with in this area. With 900 megahertz, I was like 10 meters away from my quad and it disarmed with an RX loss. So, and it wasn't like a power issue. I was literally hovering, waiting for my wife to come through a tunnel of trees, and then it just... fuck off. Go to my voicemail. I'm sure that's an important fucking phone call that I've just dismissed. Guess I'll deal with it. Won't have to dick with a phone and a gimbal anymore. Just plop the 360 camera down there. Hooray! Alright, I'll spare you guys the... It's like almost half of it, just vlogging bullshit. So, I'll spare you guys that much. Next up, we got Koala. Looks like half a pack at Nantao. Same place he... Well, I think it's the same place he was flying in his video that he submitted last week. I really enjoyed his video last week, and what I really enjoyed about it was, one, the voiceover, but also, like, you can really tell that the place means a lot to him, and that came through in the video really well. So I think, what did he say? Not every flight video has to be a certified freestyle banger. That's true, right? I mean, none of my videos are certified freestyle bangers, so we can be a little bit more realistic about that.
Have you ever had a chance to go somewhere that makes you feel alive again? Because this is that place for me. There's just something magical about it. And yeah, that might sound cliche, but at least it's fucking true.
I wonder if this is the same video. I'm not sure.
The most important person in my life.
It sounds like exactly the same video.
They brought me here. It's impossible how this place makes me feel.
Alright, that's fine. We'll watch it again.
It's fucking awesome. What more could you ask for? When I'm there, I don't feel like I need anything.
Does it look rather dark to you? Like, the sky looks blown out and the trees are super dark? I feel like it's not capturing in the right color space.
Wake up in the morning and this is what you get to experience. It's actually nuts. When you come from a North American city life, this place is like another world, another world. You don't realize how much you take for granted and how much you don't actually need. Being in a place like this is like freedom.
Huh.
Nothing matters except for the people that you love that are around you. And that's it.
I'll have to troubleshoot
That's all
that
it should be.
later. I'm doing a disservice to folks' videos if that's the case. Oh, the sky just went completely white. The colors look weird. Not on my monitor where I'm watching it, but on the program feed in OBS, it looks off. That's gonna bug the shit out of me. Yeah, I'm fucking up his video. God damn it. Fucking up his video. Hold on a second. Hang on a minute. It's a fucking shit, man. I don't get to choose the fucking... Where the fuck is it? Color range, STR white level. This isn't... See, it's interesting because it's fucked up is what it is. But my desktop's not. So it has something to do with the browser. The browser's being a dick. Because the desktop's not fucked up. Alright, enough of that shit. God damn browser. You're supposed to be better. Alright, sorry. Moving on. Scrolling down. Here's one I added today. I saw this guy, Westside, P-S-Y-D-E, flying his drone inside a mountain. Thimble Rock Point, which is a landmark on the in western Colorado, I believe. And let's see if his video doesn't end up looking like ass. That looks better. Okay. So there was something fucked up with YouTube on that last video. That looks how it's supposed to look. Goddamn YouTube! So I will be visiting this mountain next month. It's on my list. Well, now it looks fine. Because now it looks how it's supposed to look. So, trust me. I've been doing this color thing for a little while. Go to Rumble? What's Rumble? Holy shit. Got a sweet valley to fly across to. He's brave. I don't know where he's at, but he's brave. Dodging a little bit of line of sight obscurement there. The stabilization's cranked up to 1,000. That's a high note. Yeah, I'm gonna fly the fuck out of them valleys, man. Oh, is he gonna do it? He's gotta have line of sight through there. And then he's just gonna punch up. There's no way signal's getting through that rock. Oh, right, Rumble. He's nice. He's very nice. All right, let's give him a like. Greetings from of Color live stream. Great video. Look at me, I didn't hit enter this time. Go team. Okay, so next one. We got one of my older ones. This was the first compilation I did from last year's trip. Not too many people have seen it because it was superseded pretty quickly by a bunch of other shit I was doing surrounding the Rippies, which I did not win last year. That's all I'm going to say about it. Yeah, so here is Soar. May have seen a lot of these shots before, but they're kind of arranged differently. plus different expensive music that I licensed. But like, when I first saw it, even before I colored it, when I just got the edit done to this music and I watched it, it was like only a couple of days that we'd been back. And so coming back after a trip where you've traveled 8,100 plus miles in 3 weeks, it's an emotional experience, right? There's a ton of memories that are all fresh of all these different locations. We didn't stay in any one place for longer than a few hours, right? Most of the time it was just overnight. So like seeing it all kind of mashed together right as we got back, it was an emotional thing to watch all this together. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the same effect on me now, but you've already watched it twice today? Holy shit. Well, I'm flattered, Bart. Thank you. Yeah, we got, we're very efficient when it comes to pitching and striking camp. Only takes us about 10 minutes either way. Yeah, I mean, we had, like, in the vehicle that we had everything packed a certain way, so everything came out in the order that it needed to, and we went back in the order it needed to. And, you know, our tent takes maybe 30 seconds to put up if we don't stake it down. So, like, it took no time at all to make camp. It's like playing an RPG. You just, like, go to the menu and hit rest or something like that. Now, we don't leave stuff in the tent, but yeah, we're super efficient at being off-grid, so it's something we love doing. And now we have got Bartman Dude with more O3 footage, as he says. Looking like he's going through trees. Let's have a look-see. Hopefully it doesn't get fucked up. That looks how it's supposed to.
Quiet chords from my guitar, floating on the silence that surrounds us. Quiet thoughts and quiet
So tell me about this great Bart since I've got you here.
walks by quiet streams, and a window that looks out on Corcovado. Oh, how
Yes, stab. Okay. YouTube is screwing me again by giving me the 720p version or whatever.
Cantinho, violão, esse amor, uma canção pra fazer feliz a quem se ama. Muita calma pra pensar.
Okay, fair enough.
E ter tempo pra sonhar. Da janela ver seu corcovado, o Redentor, que lindo. Quero a vida sempre assim, com você perto.
Alright, YouTube, I'm getting real sick of your shit.
Até o apagar da velha chama.
4K or get the fuck out.
E eu que era triste.
So I'd invite you to try to do something to all of your footage, even if it's very little, even if it's a single node, just a couple of tweaks here and there, a little bit of saturation, boost the shadows, right? Try to do something. Make the grading part as fun as the flying part. Because for me, like, every time I fly, I'm thinking about what I'm going to do in Resolve when I get home. Music does fit very well. You do have a really good artistic vision for matching music to your flights, so well done there. Smooth. Gonna peek real quick. Yeah, this looks good. All right. Just checking the stream externally to make sure it does in fact look how I think it does. Yeah, but like, you see the flares that you got because of that gouge? You can actually play with that a little bit. That's one of the funnest things about shooting with vintage glass is the imperfections in the glass. It gets clinical when you do nothing but shoot with high-end lenses or high-end cameras, right? Sometimes imperfection adds a lot of character, and I actually think it looks good. I would play with it myself. I'm not saying I'm gonna go take an 03 air unit and smash the camera, but you see what I'm saying. Exalicious, what's up, dog? Art. Very good flight. Again, really great ending, dude. That's really cool. And again, enjoy the music. You do have a natural talent for that. So well done there. Let's see. Okay, so we got the last one here. So this dude is in England, I believe. Bloods FPV. He's the only other FPVer I've seen that's been using the Blackmagic MicroStew 4K G2 on a drone. And he and I have been kind of going back and forth a little bit, trying to figure out some of the issues with the gyro shit. And I think he's actually nailed it. So he did a little tutorial video on it today. Not that it matters too much of anybody, but I think he figured it out, and it was really, really quite intuitive. So let me make sure I give a like. Super sweet. Hashtag yes dab. Damn it. Okay, so this is just a compilation of his flights with the Halo RC, Horace, and Kelly. So he's got a 7.5 millimeter lens. Yeah, for me it's a little tight about that 7.5 millimeter. The big advantage of that being that if you fly sideways and there's a long distance, you get a lot of parallax. But it's for regular like freestyle FPV, it's a little tight. And he is using GyroFlow, but it's like very slight. Like he's got it really dialed in really well. I think he's got a less of a smoothing effect than I typically have in my footage, which is why his looks a little bit more twitchy. But yeah, this is a great little set of videos here. doesn't do a whole lot with color grading, and I mean, that's fine. But I am going to leave that comment on this video when we get done watching it and be like, hey, greetings from the Cult of Color live stream. Hey, I'm sure he's already sick of hearing from me. But he thinks I'm some kind of noob. There he is. Mono audio though, so I have to ding him on that. This is a killer song, but it's one channel. Like, you can't bring a sick, like, nasty beat like this, but then right down the middle, mono. But clearly flying is more his thing and not editing or color grading. But he's not doing a bad job of either in this case. Cool. And here we go. I've already given him the thumbs up, so I'm going to give him another greetings from the Cult of Color live stream. Ta-da! And that, ladies and gentle people, is all the videos we've got for tonight. Now, we're going to talk about GyroFlow. There's $1 trillion machines. I don't know, like, he looks like he's got a lot of sponsored stuff on his channel, so I don't know if he was, I don't know, dude. I mean, Blackmagic doesn't really send shit to people, so maybe, unless you're Potato Jet gets all the special treatment in the film industry. Yeah, anyway. So let's take a look at GyroFlow. Well, first I want to talk about how we get GyroFlow installed properly, and then the OFX plugin for DaVinci Resolve. So I'm going to open up ye old browser here, gyroflow.xyz, and I'm going to show you how to get to it like directly. So I end up going to GitHub, and then I'll scroll down, get out of the way, and then I look for nightly build. Easier just to go to gyroflow.xyz/dev build. And basically what this is if there's a change since yesterday, GitHub automatically compiles it, makes it available as a release. Well, not technically a release, but it's the latest and greatest. So, and I know like the developers aren't really down with making shit that just doesn't work, so I haven't had any problems with these in a really long time. So you just download the zip, open the shit up, get that fuck out of the way, and then you know, make a folder. So let's just pretend. Let's say data apps. Now the alternative is you can install this with the Microsoft Store. So if I open up Store, GyroFlow. Come on, you can do it. All right, so there it is, right? GyroFlow is in the Microsoft Store, but this is the signed release, which is going to be an older version than the release version on the website, I think. But it's definitely not going to contain the dev changes, the nightly changes that happen to the dev coding. But this way it's maintained as always up to date with your machine, as opposed to just copying this over to a folder which is what I have here. Just copy everything off into this folder, and then I'll make a shortcut to GyroFlow.exe. It can be right next to it, whatever, but that way I can pin it in my start menu. I wish y'all had a Mac. Meh. I think this... No, that's not what I want. Well, I want to show you one thing. Bet you guys didn't know this. Let me just... boop. Shit stain. Oh god, I have to do this every time. It's so annoying. There we go. So here's my iPhone. And guess what? I got GyroFlow on the iPhone. And also Android. And on the iPhone, it's just as fast as it is on the desktop. I don't actually have any files, I don't think. Do I have any files? No. No. Ain't got no files, but you can do GyroFlow out in the field. It works as expected. Has all the lens profiles and everything. Same exact experience on Android and iOS, except maybe one is going to be faster than the other. Some Android devices might be faster than an Apple device, and vice versa. Here's why it took 2 hours for a 3-minute video, Hexy. Because you ain't got no fucking GPU, okay? It's mind-boggling. I mean, it's not your fault. I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm just... it's a real shitty way to work. You know? Anyway. Yeah, it's probably going to run faster on your phone than it will on your Mac. Because it's going to be optimized for, like, the Adreno GPU or Apple's whatever the fuck is in their shit. Bart. Such a dick. Yeah, so just download the zip, copy it off into a folder. You don't have to do anything special to it, and you can just run GyroFlow.exe, which I already have running. And yes, you can run multiple instances. It does not care. Now we take a look at the OFX plugin. This is where things get a little bit more complex. So when you're going to work with the dev build, you want to make sure that you're using the dev build of both of these, because oftentimes, for instance, the dev build, the project file format is different than what's in production now. And if you try to open an old project file with the dev build, it won't work right. So it is what it is. But the OFX plugin is going to be matched to the changes they make in the actual GyroFlow application. So same thing here. Hit the button, download the zip, open it up, and then you're going to see this GyroFlow.ofx.bundle. I don't know where the fuck that's supposed to go on Mac OS. Sorry. But on PC, fuck is it? PC, there is a common area for all things OFX so that all OFX hosts can access them. So that's C programs, common files, OFX, plugins, and then you see I already have it installed here, GyroFlow.ofx bundle. You don't have to fuck with anything that's inside of there. You just take that folder, you drop it on there, and Bob's your uncle. Now, obviously, if Resolve is open, you got to restart Resolve in order for it to be available. But that's pretty much the long and the short of it. So let's talk about fuck all that shit. Let's talk about setting up a project to bring into Resolve directly. If you guys recall, I don't know how many weeks ago it was. You show us the same shit on the back. If you recall, I don't know how long ago, I was talking about signal integrity, and Adrian Eddy, the developer, came on in the comments and very kindly pointed me in the right direction that the OFX plugin is now a very stable and functional thing. And so, again, with keeping with signal, this music is fucking obnoxious. Oh my god, it's making me want to punch infants. Next, please. So, in order to maintain that signal integrity, we want to work with the original file if we can, in its original form. And GyroFlow OFX plugin allows us to do this. Now, for you Adobe kids, I believe there is a GyroFlow plugin for Adobe. Don't quote me on that. I thought I saw something about it. Google it, I guess. Ask ChatGPT. I don't know. I mean, I do kind of have it right here, so go to this goofy shit. I don't know if plugins. So I don't know if this is maintained properly, but yes, there are Adobe plugins. There's one for Final Cut, and whatever the shit this is. Oh, FFmpeg. Why would anybody want to do that? That sounds terrible. FreeJ, VJ, Flowblade. Okay, so this is more eclectic. But there is an Adobe plugin, Final Cut plugin, and obviously the OFX plugin, which is really the only real plugin, let's be honest, right? So that's an option too. If you go to the GyroFlow GitHub and look for the GyroFlow plugins repo. I don't know. Let's see, 2 months, 3 months ago, 4 months ago. Okay, so it's not super old. I mean, the code looks like it was updated last week, so it looks like they just updated the latest core. So that's good. It looks like it's maintained. So I would invite you to try that. Dig into the documentation to see how it's used. I don't know how it's used. Don't ask me. I'm not going to go figure it out for you. And yeah. So anyway. Setting up La Project. Shit. I deliberately had a thing open here. Oh, I gotta go 2024. Drones, hood rips. Alright, so I got some files here. We'll just take the first file, just drag it in here. Of course, it's gonna kind of shit the bed on me a little bit because it doesn't have the lens profile, so just gotta use the Hero 11 lens profile because this is a 12, right? And then, you know, you don't have to do anything with syncing the gyro data. You don't have to do any kind of filtering or anything like that. One of the things you might notice if you were paying attention when I did the deep dive a while ago is up here it now shows a percentage for the smoothness, and it used to be like this, a measurement in seconds. So just to put this in perspective, when this becomes a production change, 15% is 0.15 of a second. So 100% is 1 second. This is the average time window for smoothing. There's also the max smoothness and the max smoothness at high velocity. Those are still in seconds, but that smoothness percentage, 100% is 1 second. Do the math. Took me a little bit to figure out, but hey, Rob, what's up, dog? Yeah, man, can't wait to see your footage, bro. So now that I have this here project set up, well, I mean, it's just like I've got things tweaked the way I want. 15%, right? I want to make sure my zooming method is envelope follower. None of this shit means anything anymore. You don't have to worry about this encoding crap. You can just fucking zip all that up. It's GoPro, so you don't have to worry about synchronizing it. Now all you do down here is export project file. So this might be contentious. I don't know. I don't know what the benefit is to putting the gyro data into the project file. I have only ever used the basic project file because it contains keyframes, and that's worked fine in Resolve. Blood's FPV, his tutorial suggests that you include the process gyro data. So My suggestion to you is try it both ways. If it's not working fine with the smaller file, then by all means put the process gyro data in there, and see if that makes any difference. So I don't know for sure how it works. Maybe Adrian, if he wants to comment on it, can let me know what the difference is as far as the OFX plugin is concerned. Do the Bartman. So I'm just going to export project file, and by default it's going to drop it next to the original video, which is handy, and then I'm done here. I just close GyroFlow. We'll be back. Don't worry. We'll be back. Okay, so here's the horse shit I was working with before. Let me get this out of here. New project. Oh. Whatever. It's fine. I gotta set it up properly here so that everybody can see it. And we want to change mismatch resolution to scale entire image to fit. That's important when using the GyroFlow plugin. Now, if your aspect ratio of your image matches the aspect ratio you're working in, it doesn't make any difference. It'll always fit properly. But for GyroFlow, you need to scale the entire image to fit, because of the way it renders, I believe. So let's save. On my edit page, I'm just going to drag in that same file that we had in GyroFlow. One other thing, now that we're in Resolve, there's one little settings tweak that you have to do in order to get the OFX plugin to work properly. I mean, it'll work, but in order to make your life a lot easier, and I have to go and find that project file. Like, once that project file goes there, you don't really ever have to think about it again. So I'm going to go to up here to DaVinci Resolve Preferences. And then I'm going to go to General under System. And where it says External Scripting Using, we're going to make sure that's set to Local. By default, set to None. We don't want that. Set it to Local. You're probably going to have to restart Resolve. But that will enable the plugin to actually work properly. All right, Rob. Have a good one, dude. Thanks for stopping in. Really appreciate it. Safe travels, bud. Okay, so I'm just going to drag this. Well, I'm not going to take it to the timeline just yet. So here's the nice thing about, like, if you're like me and you sit there forever dicking around with something with the GoPro running, and you take it into GyroFlow, you can either cut the head and the tail off in GyroFlow and then run the encode, and then if there is anything else that happened there, you're fucked, right? You got to go back and do it again. You can slice this file up as much as you want, and the gyro data will always match up. So you can even change frame rate, and it will match up. So we'll just go by the sound there. Blah, 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 blah. Whoops, whatever. God damn it. Ugh. Right there. Okay. And I just pull this forward to the end of my flight. Just after landing. If you don't know how I'm doing this, how I have the zoomed in waveform down here, this can be really helpful for editing for drone footage specifically, because obviously you can tell where the drone noise is, right? So you go up here to this little 3-dot menu, and then you're going to want to show zoomed audio waveform. You can also show the full clip waveform. So you can edit that way as well, which can be helpful. So like, instead of having to scroll all the way through, I could have just clipped there, and called it a day, right? Listening back to my Mac issues. You still got Mac issues, dog. I didn't solve shit for you. Yeah, I like the zoomed in audio form. That's a Resolve 18 thing, so it's nothing spectacularly new. And now that I've got this set in and out, well, almost in and out. I've got this set in and out. Just drag it down to my timeline. What do you guys think of this little magnifier window? Is it helping? or is it just like fucking stupid? Let me know. I mean, not that I did put a whole bunch of fucking time into trying to make it work for you guys, because I did, but I want to make sure like it's not obtrusive. Like, would it be better if it disappeared as soon as I stopped moving the mouse? Or like, give me your feedback. Critical or complimentary, I don't give a shit. Alright, so now I got this on the timeline. You can tell it's you know, 8x7 squeezed into a 16:9 frame. And we're going to go to, now I've got this set as a favorite, but if you go to open FX filters GyroFlow, you'll see it. You can just drag it onto the video. Ta-da! It helps and then it hurts. Okay. Anyway, so over here in the effects tab on the inspector, you can see I've got GyroFlow. And it's looking for a project file. And here's where that scripting change came into play, where we needed to enable local scripting. Sounds good, Bart. So just hit load for current file if you've enabled scripting, and it should pop in there any moment. Hello. Sometimes it can take a little bit of time because it actually has to open the file separately from Resolve, and if your files are huge or on like remote storage, it's going to take a little bit before it pops in there. But once it's open, it'll automatically apply the distortion correction to the spec of the 16:9 video, and then, I mean, let me make sure audio's turned off here. Okay, good. It plays just as fine, just as smooth as it does in GyroFlow, or just as smooth as any regular, you know, MP4 video would in Resolve, if that's a thing for you. I don't know what other people's experiences are like, but I've come to find out I'm a bit of a princess. So, I had a conversation with some coworkers today about Premiere. Like, I didn't know how anybody could work that way. So, but yeah, that's essentially it. Then after that's done, grade like normal. Trying to think of some of the gotchas. So let's say you need to change something about the stabilization. You do have some controls over here. Field of view, you can adjust the smoothness after the fact, the lens correction, right? You can set it back to spherical. You can adjust horizon lock, right? You can manually adjust the roll, position, offset, video speed, which I have not. I think that's new in this dev build, so I haven't messed with that. You can disable GyroFlow stretch. I don't know necessarily what that. I mean, I don't know necessarily what that does. GyroFlow's keyframes. I don't necessarily know what that does either. Stabilization overview does essentially what it does in GyroFlow. Gives you the zoomed out overview so you can see how your image is being distorted and how it's being stabilized, how it's being moved around. And then you can use an alpha channel. So if you wanted to maybe do something funky like this and then use alpha, then you'd have transparency in these edges here. I did verify with Adrian that transparency does in fact work, even in the full app. They put it in there for whatever reason, but it does work and works appropriately in case you wanted to do anything weird like that. But yeah, that's essentially it. So let's say, trying to think here. Let's say you don't want to fuck with these parameters in Resolve and you want to go back to GyroFlow. So you just hit the Open GyroFlow button. It's going to open up GyroFlow, open up that project file in GyroFlow, and this is why you need to make sure that your OFX version and your application version match, because if not, this would break when I opened it. It does fuck with this a little bit though, for whatever reason. There we go. So like if I needed to come back here and add a low pass filter to the gyro data, or if maybe if it was a manual thing, like my G2, I have to manually set the sync, right? Maybe the sync's off a little bit and I have to come in and fix it. Maybe I have to change, right, the zooming type or whatever, right? Rolling shutter correction, if I have to enable that. Things that you don't necessarily have access to in the effects panel, you can do that here, and then when you're done, you'd click that little down bar just like we did before, but instead of export project, we're going to hit save project file. Okay, you're good to go. You can close it or leave it open. It's up to you. It's actually pretty, well, again, my perspective is really fucked. So if I made any changes, then I'd have to come over here, hit reload project, and you'd immediately see the changes in the stabilization. So if I had cranked the stabilization or changed whatever the fuck, you would see that there. And then, you know, continue as normal. But they are adding more and more items in here. Now, you do also have the ability to load presets and lens profiles. So sometimes it won't, if your project isn't set up correctly, or you bring in, I don't know how it works. I've only had to use it once, never again, because it was just a workflow mistake. Yeah, so that's pretty much it as far as that's concerned. It really adds nothing to, it's so efficient. Like, a lot of OFX plugins aren't like real time, and I really didn't expect this one to be real time. In fact, when I first messed with it, it was not real time. There was no edit page version of it. It was Fusion only, and Fusion is inherently slow for whatever reason. Fucking black magic, get on it. That's essentially it. So yeah, we can sum it up and make sure your GyroFlow version and your OFX plugin version match. Install the OFX plugin wherever your OFX plugins are stored. It's usually a system-wide kind of thing, as opposed to Adobe, where it's like in a specific Adobe plugins folder. Because any application that uses OpenFX plugins can use GyroFlow, can use this plugin. And once that plugin's installed there, like if I opened up Nuke or Sony Vegas or something like that, it would be the same thing there. I'd have all the sliders and everything, be able to do all the same shit, and it would run just as well. So, I mean, assuming like Vegas or Nuke actually ran smoothly. Any questions so far? I know I went kind of fast, but there's actually not that much to it. You want me to grade this shot? You want me to turn it upside down, shine it up real nice, show it up my candy ass? Let me know. There's a whole whopping two of you. I think Hexy's in the past, so he's not even going to know I asked anybody for a question. Silly Hexy. Hexy McFlexy. And then I'm going to get my scathing review of MagPy on Discord later. Oh, I'm going to be nervous about that one. So sad. How fucking far in the past are we? Again, is my chat like dead or something? Do I got to refresh the fucking... Where is everybody? I think the two of you got it open and are doing something else right now. Taking a shit? I don't know. That's fine. I forgot. There was something else I wanted to get into as a bonus topic. Now I can't remember what it was. I planned this like on the weekend, which was pretty good for me. Usually I figure it out the day of. I think I got this shit up on Sunday night, maybe Monday. Okay, well, that explains it then. Oh, you know what? Let me show you a fun little trick. A little fun GyroFlow trick. So, if we go back to the beginning of my clip here, before I take off, you notice how it sort of zooms in as it's preparing for the motion? See that camera motion prior to my drone actually moving? That's like a dead giveaway that there's stabilization. And I don't use a whole lot of stabilization to begin with, so sometimes I want to give people the impression that I'm hashtag #NoStab, even though I'm never hashtag #NoStab. But I want to get rid of that little preemptive move, or even like at the end where, let me expand this out a little bit. where I land, and then the camera's still kind of zooming out as it stabilizes. So we can get rid of that. So let me expand this out just a touch on both the head and the tail. And then I'm going to do the thing I did before. I'm going to open in GyroFlow. Sound design. Took you a whole ass week to remember sound design. Good job, buddy. Okay, so we're going to do some animation, some keyframing in GyroFlow. So yeah, we need to mess with that. So we're gonna work with the smoothness and the zoom speed. And you might be asking, Joe, how do you animate values? How do you keyframe values in GyroFlow? Well, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked. On the 15% here, I'm going to right-click that. I'm going to enable keyframing. And I'm going to do the same thing on zoom speed. Enable keyframing. Okay. So I'm back at the beginning. What I want to do is take my playhead to just before I lift off. You can look. You can kind of tell on the gyro data where it was that the motion started. Right. So just before I lift off, I am going to set my smoothness to 0. And I set my zoom speed to 0.001. If you set it to 0, it breaks. Okay, so now essentially it's not stabilized. So if I hit play, alright, it's my usual shaky bullshit. Okay, but we're going to take advantage of that chaotic liftoff. We're going to go just a little bit in, and then right here. So no, there's my first keyframe where everything is zeroed out. So right here, I'm going to go back and set my normal bullshit. So 15% for 0.15 second window and 1 second zoom speed. Okay, now you see what happened down here. It's created what are called splines or tweening between these two keyframes. So there's two keyframes on top of each other right here, zoom speed and smoothness, and then they spread apart because smoothness only goes to 0.15 and zoom speed goes to 1 second, right? So now they're apart. So what that looks like is, oh, if I back it up, watch carefully, should be no preemptive camera movement. Okay, a little bit. So yeah, that first keyframe, you want it to be right as your shit moves. I don't think you can move these yet. Nope, we just have to delete them. So easy enough. You just right click, delete. You can also disable or enable the easing, which is the smoothness of the curve. So I'm just going to inch this forward until I'm finally lifted off ever so slightly. More frame back. Come on. Fuck off. God damn it. Alright, I gotta use my super slow mouse button. Thought I was having a stroke there for a second. Nothing was happening. Alright, there. Okay. So here... Been a hell of a week. Oh, hey, look at that. Let's set this back to 0. Set my zoom speed to 0.001 seconds. And now there should be no preemptive camera movement. There was still preemptive camera movement. Why is it doing this? I think one of the things is the easing. So we turn off ease in on, is that zoom speed? Anyway, you get the idea, right? The general idea. You can animate these values. So this opens up kind of a whole new realm. So anything that you see in here, okay, all of these things are animatable except for like the toggles. All the values can be animated. Lens correction strength. So like I could go from 0 stab. Let me clear off my keyframes real quick and do this properly. Make it look like it's going to start up 0 stab. Like hashtag no stab, hashtag I'm a douchebag. Okay. So when keyframing is enabled, any changes you make causes a keyframe to be written on the timeline. So keep that in mind. Yeah, fucking rocks, dude. And then we're going to go ahead and animate. We're going to enable keyframing on lens correction strength, and we're going to drag that all the way down to 0. All right, so now we got our... We can even do some crazy shit. So we can... Yeah, shut up. We can make it look like it's our normal 8 by 7 image. Okay, so that one didn't get a keyframe, so I need to right-click there and add a keyframe. Okay. And then we'll take it out to here, give or take. Right, now it just looks like a normal GoPro file, right? Looks exactly like it did as it came out with the GoPro. So now, change our FOV back. Lens correction strength, zoom speed, and our stabilization. You see all these different keyframes we added here. So when you see red on there, it means that the edges of the image are going to be showing, which in this case it's deliberate, so that's what we want. So if we come back here, animate it into smoothness. And at any point you can fuck with that again, right? You can crank up your stabilization in the middle of the flight. You can bring it back down. You can do all this crazy shit, right? You can change your zoom speed. You want to preempt a bunch of shit, right? Get fucking stupid with it. Okay, so I made all this bullshit happen, right? Now I'm gonna go down here, save project file, and I'm gonna fucking fuck off. Now watch what happens. The jar full of keyframes. Calculate keyframes. There we go. I don't think I need that. No, I don't need that. So you just need to reload the project, just like I said, and forgot and expected it to just fucking work. And now in Resolve, all those animated functions are in here. And then to do the end, to do the same thing at the end, so if I go back to open in GyroFlow, it's going to pop up with the project. And I'll be able to pick up from where I left off down here. If I go to where I'm about to land, like, let's say right there, and we've got everything set where we want it, so to speak, right? I completely fucked with it here, so maybe I'll go here and I'll reset all this shit where it's supposed to be. So I'll set that back down to 1. Set that down to 15. Fucking. And all that shit was good. And then we're going to put... Well, yeah, so just pretend I didn't fuck around with the beginning and make it look like it was 8 by 7. We're not going to do 8 by 7 at the end. So I've set those keyframes there, so it goes back to my normal stabilization settings. And then I'll go to the end here. Obviously, you can tell in the gyro data, this little bump right here, you can tell that that's where I actually disarm. So right before that... Well, not right necessarily before that. So give it a ways, right? So a little bit back. How far is that? So that's maybe 5 to 8 seconds, give or take. Okay. With the same settings here, I'm just going to add another keyframe. Because if I don't add a keyframe, yeah, there we go. If I don't add a keyframe, when I add zeros here, it's going to tween from these keyframes back here. So I need to make sure that I add a keyframe from where I want the change in effect to start, obviously to the one to where I want that change in effect to end. So down here. So right as I'm about to drop it to the ground, then we just take smoothness to 0, and we take zoom speed. Does that work? Did they fix it? I don't know. Let's see what happens. So we're coming in for a landing here. And we're hitting the first keyframe. Start getting a little rough. And no, yeah, okay, so that works perfect. So in the latest dev build, you can put 0 on the zooming speed, and it works perfectly. But you saw it looked like when I dropped it down, there was no settling of the gyro stabilization, right? It was done. It was over. It looks like I didn't have stabilization turned on. And so I always find the swelling and the settling of the gyro stabilization to be very distracting. I'm not a fan of it. It's not that I'm trying to deceive anybody, but I want to take that distraction out of my videos. So when you're setting up your projects, you can do this quick animation and then save that, right? So we did that. We're going to save it. Okay, we're going to close. Yep, Bare Feet Madness, you got it. And I'm going to reload my project. There we go. And it's going to do some... I was all over the place with the variables there. The smoothness is going to go way up. The zoom is going to go way up. It's going to start looking like a real steady default settings. The animation in GyroFlow is extraordinarily powerful. So if we go to the end of the video here, where I come into land, you'll see that when I land, I mean, I'm pretty smooth, right? Especially when I'm coming into land. So you can't really tell I've turned off the stabilization or that it's turning off. Boom. No camera settling. It looks like I never used stabilization. So that's one way you can get rid of that real fucking annoying extra thing that just takes up people's attention, right? Especially if you're going to walk over to your drone, pick it up. Right now, if I continue this on, you're going to see me squat, yeah. So I obviously just stopped the GoPro, but sometimes I talk, I pick up the camera and I point it at myself and use it like a vlogging camera. So, you know, it's a good opportunity there. And then you can even animate back up. If you're going to pick up the drone and use it like a vlogging camera, you can take those values back up to something that's appropriate for a handheld camera, right? Something a little bit more aggressive in terms of stabilization, maybe, you know, horizon angle strength, right? So it's always level when you're pointing at yourself. And then when you're about to end it or when you put the drone down, you take all those curves back down to 0 so that when there's that transition from being handheld to stationary, there's no camera settling. There you go! Yatta! Any questions on animating and any questions on OFX? Any questions about my bare feet? You get those ones for free. If you want to see the rest, you got to go to my OnlyFans. For the win. For the motherfucking win. Well, alright, kids. Bart, we're going to talk sound design next week. It's a little bit off topic, but it's something that I have found myself doing and wanting to do more of. I'm pretty good at it. Having done like audio engineering for music in the past. It's just something I figured out. Nobody taught me, but I'll teach you how I do it and my theory behind it. In fact, I got the perfect project for it too. We'll go over the project I did for Falcon Rad, all the sound design I did for his tracks. Questions about animating? We'll take up a couple episodes. Okay, well, cool. Drop them in the Discord. We'll have a follow-up episode, bro. So, especially do it before you forget. I don't want to wait a week for you to come up, for you to remember what the fuck you wanted to tell me. So, anyway, guys, I think that's it. That's all we got. I got no more vidges. Well, anyway, we're done for the day, so. But I am going to, we're going to call it a little bit early. Usually, we're usually out of here by 7:30, but we kind of rushed through this. Again, don't feel like you can't just ask questions in Discord. And I know a few of you have, some of you aren't here in this one, but a few people have messaged me privately questions, and that's fine. But there are times when, like, shit, did my mic just cut out? No, okay. There are times when it would be beneficial for the question and answer to be publicly visible on the Discord. So if you're comfortable, ask in the general chat. That way everybody else can benefit from the answer. Because I'm lazy and I don't want to repeat myself. What can I say? No, always happy to help you guys. If you're not comfortable with whatever question, if it's a business question or whatever, ask me privately. It's totally fine. But consider that option, that it could benefit other people, the answer, right? And I'm always happy to do private critiques of grades and whatnot. It doesn't have to be a public fucking whipping. Sorry, Bart. But yeah, just hit me up. Don't be afraid. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Just a reminder, we got one more. Let me look at the calendar real quick. I gotta open fucking. So we got Wednesday the 29th and Wednesday the 5th. 2 more weeks. And then the 12th, 19th, and 26th, I will be off grid and not able to stream for obvious reasons. I'll be out and about exploring the world. So don't forget, there'll be those 3 weeks. But we've got 2 more episodes left before I go on vacation. Wait. Yeah, before I go on vacation. So, cool beans, yo. Cool fucking beans. Cool fucking beans. All right, guys. Have a good one. Thanks so much for joining me and hanging out with me. If you're new here, be sure to like and subscribe and all that happy horse shit. I got a Patreon if you want to help out. I mean, if you want to toss some coin at your local colorist, as I like to say. I put nothing behind a paywall, so you're not going to get anything more than anybody else, except perhaps maybe some gratification for dropping $2. I don't know. Only reason I have it is because people asked me to make one. So clearly, I'm not trying to necessarily do this for a living. I'm just trying to get back. What else? Discord link down in the bio. So if you're not a member of the Discord, go ahead and join. We talk cameras, we talk video, we talk all kinds of shit. Sometimes fitness even. Dieting. A gratuitous use of the word Belgium and classical cinema. And we talk about fucking everything. So, right, kids. Until next time. This is Nomad signing off. As soon as I figure out what fucking scene to go to. Okay, I love you. Bye.